Saturday, June 28th, and I am Bruce Leonard, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left, while it's still legal. A little less, it's still legal today, but a little less legal maybe than it was yesterday. I don't know if you've been following the events, but the Supreme Court yesterday decided that nationwide injunctions are no longer acceptable. I don't understand what that's all about. Because just last year, Biden asked them to take away the injunction that was stopping him from forgiving student loans, and they said no. So injunctions good when there's a Democrat, and injunctions bad when there's a Republican. It's like, shocker. It's almost like these guys are political hacks and not judges at all. Maybe the job of being a judge is being a political hack. I don't know. I just remember that for years and years and years, the right used to say they would call them activist judges. If they didn't like their decisions, they would say, these are activist judges who are being political with their decisions. And when they are activists and political in their favor, oh, these guys are great. They're wonderful. Some guy asked me the other day, did I really think that the world was down to two kinds of, I mean, he tried to say kinds of people, but it's not. There's many different kinds of people, but the world is down to two political philosophies, basically. It's this populist, nationalist, right-wing fascism, and liberalism, I mean, or whatever you want to call it. And this is the great struggle of the world right now. And you know, one of these I mean, this is the struggle. It's like, you want to go conservative, nationalist, fascism, basically, or liberalism, where there's democracy and everybody has rights, and who knows what it's going to turn into, you know, like, but the internet has allowed all these groups across the world to join together, you know, I mean, and I will say this, the fascists are much more organized and united than the left, because the left is like me and Dan, you know, like me and Daniele had this conversation. Daniele said the same thing. It's like, you know, it's hard to get all the leftists on the same page, because there's so many different kinds of people, whereas the fascists are more homogenous, what you want to say, you know. They're very stick together, hate everyone else, you know. It's their hate, Julia, what's up? It's their hate that unites them, you know, like, like, oh, we hate the same people? Cool, we're in. It's like, right now, they keep saying that this beautiful bill that they're trying to smash through right now, is showing the fractures in the Republican, you know, coalition, but I don't know if it's like, they're gonna buckle, they're gonna groan, they're gonna bitch, they're gonna say, I don't like this, raising the debt ceiling, and I don't like this, cutting the Medicaid, and I don't like this, and but in the end, they're gonna fold. They're gonna do what Trump wants them to do, because they're very, like I said, for their for all their protestations, they're really together. They share this fascist vision of what they want the country to be. Now here's the thing about what happened yesterday. Okay, they've tried to say, Coney Barrett tried to say that it's not the court's place to do oversight on the executive branch. Well, it's not really oversight to decide whether or not an executive order is constitutional or not. It's a legal question. But what they did was open the door for a president to make a blatantly illegal executive order, blatantly unconstitutional, and then say there's no way to stop it until it adjudicates itself, which means that everybody is going to be fucked for a year or two or however long it take for them to get there. Because this is the question. This was about the birthright citizenship order, which is blatantly unconstitutional and illegal. Or, you can call it whatever you want. Unconstitutional is illegal, basically. They're the same thing, okay? But because the court lifted the injunction, now he can move forward with this illegal, unconstitutional act. And there's really no way to stop them unless they said you got to get a class action suit, which is makes it way more complicated. And you have to have 3 legal filings to make it a class action suit. There's 90 districts in the country, which means if you wanted to stop this, you have to go to all 90 and get 90 decisions in your favor, which is not going to happen because we all know that some of these districts are Republican and some of them aren't. And the judges, even though they should be calling balls and strikes, they're not. They're there to bolster whatever political opinion they have. So what's going to happen is it'll get blocked in some states, and in some states it won't. So theoretically, this is what could occur is, let's say you're born to immigrants in, let's take a totally red state, like let's say Alabama. Let's use Tuberville as place. Alabama is what I like to call it. But let's say you're born in Alabama to immigrants, and in Alabama the judge says, no, this is totally constitutional. This is totally fine. He can eliminate the birthright citizenship. So you're born in Alabama, but now you're not a citizen all of a sudden. But if you're born in California, well, they will immediately block this shit. Now you're a citizen. So it's almost like the abortion thing, where like if you want to have a kid who's a citizen, you have to move, or you have to run to another state where it's legal. It's like an abortion. Like if you want to have an abortion, you can't have one in Alabama. Let's say you could drive to Missouri or somewhere where it's legal, and you can have an abortion there. It's the same here. Like, so in Alabama, your kid will not be a citizen, but in California, your kid will be a citizen. It's fucked up. Like, and then they instead of deciding on the merits of the order, they just put that off. Then they just limited the judge's ability to stop. Which means with the Congress doing no oversight whatsoever, that there's no one to stop. Now they said they're already like trying to figure out like how to make a class action suit so they could try to stop this from happening, but What they did was set up a patchwork, just like with the abortion issue, where if you want to make it legal, you have to vote. But you see, just from this, that's what they did to abortion, right? So states like Ohio codified abortion, right? We put it on. We got enough signatures. We put it on the ballot, right? They voted. People voted for it. They want abortion rights in the Constitution, state Constitution. So what happened? Republicans in the state house decided that they'd start passing laws to limit abortion, even though the people paid for it or voted for it. So they don't believe in democracy. Their actions tell you this. They don't give a shit what the voters say or think or what the people want. They want to jam their version of reality down your throat. The religious conservatism, whatever it is, pro-life shit. Like when people said clearly in the ballot box, in Ohio, it's very clear. The vast majority of people voted for abortion rights. And the state house wants to get rid of them. Somehow they're going to pass laws to limit abortion, even though people voted for it. Which tells you they don't give a shit about voting. They don't care. Which is why they gerrymander districts, so they can hold on to their power, even though if you had a legitimate map, Republicans wouldn't have any. It's like the only way they stay in power is by cheating, lying, The vast majority of people aren't for this. The polls say, too, the vast majority of people are for birthright citizenship. It's in the Constitution. They're way over the line of, are they constitutionalists? Yeah, like the conservatives used to say, we're constitutionalists. What did they used to say? I forget what they used to call it. Originalists, right? Like Scalia and them. They strictly interpret the Constitution as it was written, right? Even though it clearly says in the Constitution, the birthright citizenship is a right. If you're born here, you're a citizen. Well, they're abandoning that now, right? They don't care about that. You're talking about you're an originalist. Well, it's right there. There is no ambiguity about it. It says right in the Constitution. You're born here. Now, Trump's argument to that is, well, it was written for the children of slaves, who were 1/5 of a person. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Julia says maybe the states are preparing for national divorce like Margie Three Toes once. Yeah. You know what? Part of me is like, they should have just done it. We had a war to save the Union so that these people could just continue to try to destroy it. They were never interested in the Union. They were never interested in compromise. They were never interested in America the way it's constituted. What they wanted was what they wanted, which is a white nation dominated by white people, where people of color were oppressed and were less than a person. They didn't have voting rights at all. And then when they made the compromise or whatever, they said, all right, they'd be 1/5 of a person. Why did they make these compromises? I don't know. They should have said, hey, we won the war. Fuck you. This is the way it is. We had this conversation a few months ago when I first started this show. I did a whole show about the corrupt bargain, it was called, that they made after the Civil War. After Lincoln was killed, there was an election that was so close that they couldn't decide the outcome. So they got together in a convention and they came up with this corrupt bargain. And the South said, okay, we'll let you have the presidency if you end Reconstruction and remove all the federal troops from the South. This is what they did. And what they did was immediately went back to oppressing black people and not letting them vote. And they didn't put slavery back, but they just started arresting them all, putting them in jail, and making them do labor. Basically brought back slavery. I mean, which led to segregation, Jim Crow, and all the things that we had to fight in the 60s to free the black people again. And I still don't understand why they didn't just tell them to fuck off. They lost the war. You lost the war. They were so eager to put the Union back together that they said we had to placate these people. It's basically the same spot we're at now, where where Democrats are like, we gotta compromise with these people, and these people aren't compromising. These people don't care about compromising. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about anything except get rid of all the brown people as fast as they can and reestablishing the white dominance. And then they're going to they're going after the trans people and the gay people. And if you think for 1 second, if you're gay and you think that they're not going to come for the rights that you've been given, you're fucking mistaken. Gay marriage will be next. They're coming for it. They're going to take back all the things that you've been given. I said it before a long time ago. If they could, they'd put slavery back. This is the kind of people you're talking about. They don't give two shits about anything except domination and power. Julia says, I would care to take some states if they include Illinois. I don't even care anymore because, like I said, as soon as I can, I'm probably going to get out of this place. This place is not for me. I've always thought that, but the Republicans used to be, they were assholes, but they respected the law and the Constitution. Well, they're way past that point now, because they know that if we keep living in the way we were living, like I said, Barack Obama was elected and they were like, that's it. They abandoned the Constitution right then. They were like, oh, well, the Constitution brings us here to a black president. It's like, fuck it, tear it up. And that's where we're at. And these fucking asshole conservatives on the court, they can talk shit all they want about being originalists and all that shit. They're full of shit. Right? The injunction stops a constitutional overreach, right? If the order is blatantly unconstitutional, why should it be allowed to stand for one fucking day? And they say, oh, the president will be irreparably harmed if he's not allowed to do whatever he wants, even if it's illegal. It's like, what? So you have to understand that these are the people, the same people that didn't care that Nixon was a criminal. All they cared about was that the liberal media exposed their criminality and they got rid of the president. And they've been going down this path ever since. How can they stop that from ever happening again? Oberfeld's already being discussed. Piss every day when they go out. Yeah, exactly. Well, interracial marriage, I said, they had to codify that by law. That was once illegal. Can you believe that? And in this country, you were not allowed to marry a person of another race. I guess that's that couple, right? The Virginia couple, they were the ones. They got married and they took it to the Supreme Court. And then interracial marriage was made legal. I don't think they'll go after that. They're going to go after gay marriage first. These people, they knew exactly what they were doing. They empowered the corporations and the billionaires to be able to flood the elections with money so they could buy elections. Because, like I said, if you just put a vote out, these people are going to lose. Their policies are not popular. Like everybody keeps talking about what happened yesterday, but nobody's looking at the polls. America's people are not for any of these things. Vast majority does not support ICE deporting, dishwashers and fruit pickers. Yesterday, they arrested, or was it yesterday? No, it was just a few days ago. They arrested an Iranian lady who's married to an American citizen who was picking fruit in her own garden at her house. ICE went to a family's house of all U.S. citizens, blew off the doors with fucking explosives, and rounded up a whole family. Turned out they were citizens. There are masked people, unmarked, going around just snatching people up. People are just disappearing into whatever this system that they're building to house these people. And now, the Supreme Court said that courts can't stop him from doing these things. And you're telling me that this is about the law? It's not about the law. This country's become, everything is political, everything is politics. It's no longer like, a straight up and down interpretation of what laws and rights are. Now your rights, we're right back where we were, where your rights are directly related to the color of your skin and how much money you have. And I've been saying all along, I'm a white guy who was born in America, so I have a little bit longer leash than most people, but, you think that sooner or later they're not going to put us on the list? They are. Here's where you're at. All right? Let's use me as an example. Let's just say that they decide they don't like people like me going on the internet and giving our take about what's going on in this country and like examining their fascism and exposing it to people. And they don't like that. So they just come to my house, kick the door and drag me off, okay? Well, now the Supreme Court has made it so that unless I have money to get a lawyer, file a lawsuit, to go to federal court, get an injunction for me, personally, because they said, you can still have an injunction, but only for the people who are involved in the case. Well, let's say that there's a person who can't afford a lawyer. Can't afford. See, that's where the CCOT prison people are. People in CCOT prison are stuck there indefinitely. And they gave him the right to do that too. They said, he could deport people to third countries. If you want to know that these people are racist, all you have to know is this. They just rescinded the asylum protections for over 100,000 Haitians and said, it's safe for them to go back there, so they don't need asylum. It's safe for them to go back there. But if you go on the Department of Homeland Security's travel website, Haiti is a level 4 country, says do not travel. Threat level 4, red. Do not travel to Haiti. But yet Trump and them say, oh, it's totally safe for them to go back even though it's run by gangs and it's fucking total chaos. Because they're racist. They want to get rid of all the brown people they can get rid of as fast as they can. With no process, no due process, nothing. To them, these people have no rights. And you're telling me that these people care about the Constitution? No. They don't give two shits. About any of that. Clarence Thomas, she says. Fuck Clarence Thomas. Why he's even still on the court, I have no idea. He should have been impeached or removed. See, that's what I was talking about earlier, about the system itself. The system itself is too weak to protect itself. If the Congress, if this were a real functioning republic, the Congress would be in session right now, not voting on this fucking bill. They'd be trying to write law to stop this lawlessness that the president is doing. They'd be doing real oversight on the executive branch, which is supposed to be their fucking job. But instead, all these Republican nutlickers, they're all fascists. They would dissolve the Congress if they thought they could and get away with it. Just like they've done in every fascist country that's ever been. What do? You neuter the fucking whole thing. This says, it goes all the way back to everything I've been saying. This country is filled with ignorant fucks. The education system is so bad. Everyone's so stupid that they don't realize that they're giving away their own freedom. And half the country doesn't care. Because the white people think, well, it doesn't matter because we're white, so who needs rights and freedom as long as we can be in charge? Julia says they're not allowing anyone to kidnap to communicate with anyone, let alone an attorney. Yes, exactly. They aren't even stopping it to find out. Yes, exactly. They snatched many citizens and had to let them go. Oh. Once they found out, oh, they're citizens. Yeah. Like the people you just blew up their fucking house. They're citizens. They're U.S. citizens. They don't care. They're brown. Oh, he said a Spanish word. Get him. Soon, the only Mexican food you'll be able to get is fucking Chipotle. It's like, buckle up. All the good tacos are gone. This is not a country I want to live in anymore. Tell you the truth. We pretty much sucked all the joy out. And we're about to have 4th of July, which is a fucking joke. Let's celebrate our independence while we round everybody up. Send them off to Seacon Prison or the Alligator Alley that we're building down there. It's like, oh wait, here's some fireworks. You're free. It's like, we are not free. It's only going to get worse. We're only 6 months into this bullshit. We got 3.5 years to go. Ain't nobody going to stop. And now I was reading a thing today. They said, oh, because Mom Donnie is like a gift to Trump. You know, like, it's like, yeah, because people in this country are so fucking stupid. They're going to buy into this. Oh, he's a Muslim, a socialist, and oh, I'm going to have to vote Republican. Even. Guy wants to give you health care and a higher minimum wage. He's a communist. It's like, yes, Julia. Bunch of fucking, she says, bunch of Gravy Seals, Proud Boys are cosplaying. Current unions paying them to play out their racist fantasies. Yes. Yes. Have you seen these videos? They like just run up to a car and just smash the window, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Can you imagine if a policeman pulled you over on the side of the highway and he just came up to your car, just smashed your window, and just pulled you out of the car? Like, what the fuck is that? Like I said, your constitutional rights are being eroded every single second of every single day. And nobody cares. Nobody seems to care. A guy wrote on, it's a Blue Sky or Substack, one of these things, and it's true. He's like, I just noticed that everybody who's fighting their fascism with all their might and all their being, is not an elected official. The elected officials seem to be sorely lacking. And then there's people like Fetterman who vote with them. The Democrat Party needs to clean their fucking house. I keep saying this over and over and over, and I know it's like a broken record, but Fetterman has got to go. He might as well be a MAGA. He might as well just join the Republicans. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe it's a stroke or something. I don't know. But he used to be all right. He was cool. In the last year or two, he's changed into someone else. It's because he's in Pennsylvania, I think. And a lot of rednecks in Pennsylvania, so he feels like he's got to represent his constituency of mega red hats, I suppose. But Democrats don't need that. This is all the shit that David Hogg was trying to tell them, and what they do, they kicked him out. And some of these Democrats are going after Mamdani, and it's like, dude, Mamdani is the future of people like him. He personally might not be the future of the Democratic Party, but people like him, the progressive wing of the party is the future of the party. Or these parties need to split. To watch what's going on is fascinating, because like Joe Walsh left the Republican Party and joined the Democrat Party, which is great. But also, having people like him keeps the Democrats, like I said, at the center-right position. And center-right is not going to make it. The center-right is how we got here. It ain't right enough for them, and they're still going to call you a communist. And scumbag, and whatever else Trump calls it. The Democrats need to lean into progressivism, because that's the future. This is a war. It's no longer like, oh, this is politics as usual. No. When's the last time you saw a bipartisan bill? I can't even remember the last bipartisan bill. And if it was, I guarantee you it was some wishy-washy, almost right-wing bullshit. Did the Republicans vote for Obamacare? No. They did not. As a matter of fact, they fought it tooth and nail and tried to repeal it numerous times since it was passed. They ain't been able to. Why? Because people fucking realized that it was good. But see, they got a short attention span in this country. That's why they went to cultural issues. And they go, well, I like everything they're saying, but them men playing girls' sports, there's 7 of them. It doesn't matter. You think people you think people look into it enough? No. They pretend like, oh, this is happening everywhere. It's a threat to your daughter. And they go, oh, no. And then they go, well, I can't vote for the Democrats. They want these men to play. Remember dodgeball when you were in high school or whatever, and you know, every couple months they play dodgeball where we line up and they act like there's dudes just like chucking fucking dodgeballs in women's faces all day, you know, and then they go, "This is the new normal." It's like, oh, he's knocked her teeth out, you know. Like no, that isn't what's happening. If you listen to them, you would think that's what's happening because they lie all the time. Like they say, oh, there's all these medals that they're taking away from women, you know, and then you look up the list of it. It's like oh, it's like a billiards tournament or some shit. It's not even a real sport. Because they use anything they can to run up these numbers. Oh, there's 2,000 medals. How many actual athletic events? Well, about 10. The rest are like poker tournaments and pool tournaments and whatever else they can find. You know, like this girl who that fifth place swimmer. You know, they've made her a star now because she got fifth place in swimming, and she claims, oh, it's because of the trans people. Even though there was only one trans person, which means, let's say the trans person came in fourth, she came in fifth. There's still 3 actual women that kicked the shit out of her. She's not any good. And she's made a whole career and become a star by pretending that she's a victim of some shit. And now she's like talking about Mamdani and New York politics. Like who the fuck is she to have an opinion about that? But that's what they do, is they create these stars. You know, like the Gutfelds and the Jesse Waters and now this swimming chick. And they're like, oh, they have opinions about stuff. It's like, Greg Gutfeld was a writer for Men's Health. This chick was a swimmer. I don't know what the fuck Jesse Waters was. Why do you give a fuck what he thinks about anything? They've never done shit in their lives except bitch and complain and fucking blame other people for their shit. For their lack of success in whatever it was they were trying to do. And Fox News goes, oh, these are just the kind of unhappy pricks we're looking for. Give him a TV show. Yes, Julius, there's a very clear difference between us and them. We want rights for all, including them, and they want rights for only themselves. Well, you know what? I'm to the point where I don't give a fuck about them anymore. Like I said yesterday, they're driving me to extremism. Well, not extremism, but I'm saying, like, I'm sick of the Democrats' wishy-washy bullshit. Let's go full-on Democrat socialist. Full-on progressivism. Stop fucking around, because these people that fucking around has done nothing but lose you elections. Because the people on the left, you can't motivate them with this wishy-washy, almost right-wing bullshit. John says, petty is petty. Victimization is the key. John, they failed in life. It has to be someone else's fault. Exactly. Exactly. Like that woman who just had the case. I'm a white woman and I was discriminated against because a lesbian got the job that I wanted. And like, what? Maybe the lesbian's better at the fucking job. What does it matter what they are? I thought getting a job was about qualifications and shit. But no, they're like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, and I'm white. And it's like, remember these people used to be the shut up and pull yourself up by your bootstrap people. And now they're like, well, I'm getting screwed over by DEI, and everybody being equal and having rights means that I don't just get, you know, what I want, like, which has happened throughout the history of this country. The fucking generic-y white person would get would get the job that a more qualified black person wouldn't get because they were black. Or how they would run up the fucking cost of buying a house for the black people so they couldn't buy a house in your neighborhood. You know, to make sure they kept them poor enough that they couldn't buy their way into the nicer neighborhood, you know. And then Tuberville, fucking people like Tuberville come out. He says, these inner city rats, they live off of us. And like, what the fuck is he talking about? He comes from Alabama. They get more federal money than anybody. They have a bunch of fucking trailer parks and fucking tobacco spitting rednecks who are all on food stamps and fucking, you know, like, he's talking about, oh, they live off of us. What the fuck are you talking about? I bet you he didn't mind having him on his football team when he was the coach at Auburn. And he didn't call them rats then. He was like, oh yeah, we need you on the football team. It's like, here's some money. Now he's like, oh, they're rats. And when you say inner city rats, come on, man. You might as well just drop the N-bomb and not get it over with. Everybody knows what you're talking about, bro. Just fucking dog whistle shit. Or should just come out. Yes, they crossed the line. John's like, yes. Fuck on. You asked me, and I said Sherman didn't burn enough of the South. He should have burnt the whole fucking thing to the ground. I don't know why they stopped. These people are scumbags. They'll always be scumbags. These people that we're dealing with, they're the descendants of these scumbags. That's the absolute truth. And I don't really want to have another civil war, and I don't want to see another fucking 600,000 people die, you know, so that people can be free. I'd say, like she was talking about, I'd say, let's just get it over with. Let's just split it. Just draw a line. Talk. You want to be with them? You go over there. You stay here. You know, California and New York. Or the northern state. I don't care where you put the line, but just make a line so I can move somewhere where I ain't around these scumbags anymore. Because I'm tired of it, really. I never thought I would be like pro-secessionist, but now it's flipped over. Like they wanted to secede. Now I'm like, fuck them, let's secede. It's like liberal secession. You know what they're going to find out? Is they can't live without us. You ever seen a map of the GDP of this country? Most of it is in all liberal states. California, New York, like, they give the most tax dollars to the federal government, and then it's distributed to all these poor-ass red states. You ever been to Alabama? I was in Alabama. They still had dial gas pumps. I'm not kidding you. I was like, there's no fucking way. Like, I was waiting for the guy to come out with the change thing on his belt. I was like, what is this, 1950? It's like, can I wash your window? It's like, you think these states can survive without the federal money that they get from California and shit? Fuck no. What'll happen is Texas would be because Texas has oil, it'd be the only state they have that makes money, and Texas has to fucking support all these poor ass states. I say let them go. Let them do it. Yes, Julia says, regards to Gary's idiots, cry reverse racism. That's what I was just talking about, that lady. She won her case. In the Supreme Court, they said, oh yeah, she got discriminated against because she's white. It's like, what? That's why Hank said, so get rid of the DEI. It's time for unqualified white people to get their fucking jobs back. That's what I'm saying is they're racist. Period. Sick of the gaslighting and the pretending that, oh, you can't say that because you just don't like the politics. Yeah, because they're racist politics. They're racist. They're going to be cleaning out all the history books of all the black people that have ever done anything. Harvey Milk was the first gay fucking politician. They named the ship after him. Oh no, they'll take the name back. Because they're bigots. And it ain't fucking like bullshit to say that. It's the truth. That's what I've always hated about Trumpism the most, is how they hide, how they try to pretend like they're not what they are. It's like, dude, if you're a fucking racist fascist, just say it. I'd respect you more if you just said it. At least George Wallace and people like that just said what they were. He was like, segregation down, segregation forever. It's like, well, at least he's honest. These people now, they said, they try to hide and act like they're not. They're like, oh, you called me a racist. That's not cool. It's like, really? It's not? What are you? What's that in your closet? Oh, it looks like a white hood and robe hanging up back there. What? You tell me you're not racist. We're Christians. Oh, yeah, okay. You know the Ku Klux Klan was a Christian organization? That's the other gaslight they use all the time. Oh, it was the Democrats that were the start of the Klan. Yes, it was. But the Democrats then were the Republicans now. They were conservatives. The Republicans were the liberals. They try to flip that. They go, oh, Abraham Lincoln, he freed the slaves. Like, yeah, because he was a liberal. You think if he was a modern Republican, he would have freed the slaves? Fuck no. He wouldn't have got shot in the back of the head. That's the other thing. This guy killed the fucking politicians 2 weeks ago. They ain't talk about that at all. Oh, they said yesterday, oh, he's in court today. That was it. You don't think that's fucking important to talk about? The right-wing propaganda has become so strong that this guy, Mamdani, better watch his back, because people are going to come after him. These mega people are fucking crazy. It's like what happened in the 60s. You're like, oh, they killed Martin Luther King, they killed Malcolm X, they killed everybody that tried to advance the civil rights agenda. It didn't stop it. But they tried, and they used violence. They're fucking violent people. They don't care about your rights. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about anything except hating people who aren't like them and forcing their point of view down your fucking throat violently if they have to. And as long as leftists keep standing around like everything is normal, they're going to keep going. It's time for people to stand up. Say, we ain't taking this shit. Especially now. It's only the beginning. I don't know if you saw this, but Trump's putting up all these barricades all around the White House and the Treasury Department today. One day after the Supreme Court unleashed him, he started putting up these barricades. Why do you think that is? Because he's going full on now. He believes he's got immunity, and now the courts can't stop him. He's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. And he knows that people are going to get riled up, so he's putting up barricades and shit. Why is there barricades around the White House? You're telling me that he doesn't think that he's going to need them? Yeah, no, he knows. He'd build a wall around that motherfucker if he could. All right, John says, the Jesus shirt's a much indicator of their hate. Yes, the Jesus shirt and the red hat. It's the new Klan outfit. It's just like today. Biden went to that funeral. Trump's out golfing. Trump doesn't care that that woman got killed. Biden, I said, went to the funeral, paid his respects, kneeled down in front of their coffins. Because the left represents humanity. These people on the right, I don't know what they are. They're not human beings. They're pieces of shit. And that's all there is to it. You know, people say, "Oh, that's wrong. You know, you just don't like the." It's like people say, "You just don't like the politics." No, I don't, because they're racist politics. Yes, exactly, John. Is that somebody said that earlier? Was said, why did the Supreme Court let them do that? It's like because they don't plan on there being another Democrat president in their lifetime. Well, I got news for you. That ain't gonna work. This is a big country. If they think they can stop everybody, they got another thing coming. They think people are just gonna lay down for this shit. They got another thing coming. What's all the midterm? Well, that's why I said before. I don't know why I keep. It's like a week or two ago. I said we're gonna find out about a year and a half from now. Well, a year and a couple months now. Next November, when there's a midterm election, if there's a midterm election or not. If they take back the Congress, now game on. And the Congress actually start oversight and stop this motherfucker. Like I said, if the Republic was real and they cared about anything, and they cared about the checks and balances in the way that the Constitution has the government set up, they'd be in there right now writing law. How they can stop, you know, a president who writes a blatantly unconstitutional executive order. But they're not even going to do that. They're too busy trying to ram through their fucking big beautiful bill or whatever the fuck that is. So they cut all your Medicare and all your fucking food stamps. Because they don't care about the people. Do you understand that? It's no longer it's a class war. It's rich people versus everybody else. I read something interesting. Somebody said, here, I'll read it to you. It was very interesting. About Bezos' wedding. Hold on. Let me find it. Here it is. They say, let's break it down. It says, when everyday people can't afford groceries, rent, or a trip to the ER, and billionaires are hosting royal-level weddings for Instagram, it's not just tacky. It's a warning sign. This is not harmless excess. This is the kind of performance that has, throughout history, preceded collapse. Think the Gilded Age. Think Marie Antoinette. Think Rome before it fell. The formula is always the same. Too much wealth and too few hands, paraded around like a victory lap while the rest of the world drowns. It's not love that's offensive. It's the spectacle. It's the clueless grinning while workers get crushed and democracy erodes. It's pretending that this is aspirational when it's actually a symptom of a system eating itself. So sure, pose for your photos, cut your 8-tier cake, but just know that history doesn't remember the richest people kindly. It remembers what came right before the fall. And that's 100% correct. 100%. You know, you got 15, 20 billionaires, got all the fucking money. Everybody else is struggling around, and they give them enough. You know, they give these guys enough money to keep placated and working for them. You know, but there ain't enough of them. There's way, way more of us out here struggling. Yes, John today, stupid mega fucks turned us into a dictatorship because they're stupid, hateful, cowardly pieces of shit. Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, no, Mitch McConnell, I love how he tries to sometimes pretend like, oh, he's against Trump or whatever. It's like, come on, man. You fucking made this happen. He could have got rid of him 3 fucking times. The fact that they let him get away with January 6th says everything you need to know about what they think about, the constitutional order. They don't give 2 shits about it. And don't let them lie to you and fool you. They don't care. The guy tried to literally overthrow the fucking government. And they didn't care. They nominated him again. They try to say, oh, you're just trying to hold him down because he's your political opponent. It's like, well, why don't you get a better political opponent then? Yes. With Rush Limbaugh and all those other pieces of shit. Anyway. I'm sorry it wasn't funny today. I'll say it again. Not a lot of jokes today. What is it? We're in a tight spot. We're back to Brother Orto. We're in a tight spot. Not to mention this whole trade thing. It's like we got 10 days left. They got no deals. Got 10 days left. Today he shut off Canada. He said, I ain't talking to Canada no more. And I'll tell them in a couple days what tariffs they got to pay, which means what you got to pay, not what they got to pay. People think that this guy is amazing, and I don't get it. America, not so exceptional anymore, is it? Yes, well, all you can do is laugh. Until the killing starts. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. That's what people say. These guys got all what they call it, compromise, all the blackmail shit. I do find it amazing how you can find tape of all these people like Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio and everybody talking about how terrible Trump is, and now they're all groveling in before him. I do find that interesting. He got something on him. Or he just tells him, I got a private army. I'll send him to the house and kill you, the Proud Boys or whoever. That's why he let all those people out of prison. They're afraid. Murkowski even said that. She says, it's fear. They're scared. You turn the whole cult on him. He doesn't care. So see, Trump doesn't care about anything but power. That's all. He's a sociopath. He's a psychopath. He doesn't care about anything except his own aggrandizement and power. That's it. Yes. Well, I told you the other day, it was Marco Rubio said, forget about intelligence. I said, that should be the new slogan for America. America, forget about intelligence. I was like, who needs it? We've obviously chosen the other way. And then what's funny is they don't see that all the other countries are laughing at it. They say, oh, they respect us now. Because they don't just tell him to fuck off in his face, They kiss his ass. They do what they did the other day. They like truncate the NATO summit to, because he's a little child who couldn't keep his attention span going for a whole weekend. So they go, we need to make this a 10-minute meeting, and then pretend that we're giving him what he wants, and then he'll go away, and that's what they do. In the meantime, I said, They're not sharing their intelligence with us anymore. They're not doing anything anymore, and they're all working to make trade deals with the other countries and shit. And soon they're going to shut us out. It's only been 6 months. It takes a long time to rearrange the world. Before the end of the 4-year term, we will be shut out. It'll be America alone. And then we'll see how it works out for them. No, that's what I'm saying. Yes, in China, they said, China was like, we've been around for 1,000 years. We were around before you even been around. We don't need you. They don't need us. We are, like I said, an empire at the end. This is what always happens, if you know history. This is what always happens. That's why everybody thinks, oh, we get screwed over, we got America first. It's like, no, we screwed ourselves over. You know what? It's just like what you were talking about, the blaming other people for your problems. That's the American way. It's everybody else's fault that we just squandered all of our, we wasted trillions of dollars in these bullshit wars that, that didn't really accomplish anything except destabilize the whole place. That Iraq war was really worth it, wasn't it? Well, Saddam's not there anymore, but they pulled out this thing where Netanyahu said that when the Iraq war is gone, if you get rid of Saddam Hussein, you'll see the Middle East to be a better place. Did that work out? Is it a better place? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Ask the people who live under ISIS if it's better. I don't know. Yes, we are connected, Julia. We are connected at the brain. That's why you're here every day, I guess. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, even though it was early. I'm sorry I had to go on early, but I said I've been saying before, I gotta try to have a personal life of some sort. I'm gonna go out and have fun. Yeah, right. I don't even know what you're trying to say. No spell check. Most other countries have multiple internal wars. It's like, I don't know what it is. Oh. Multiple internal wars, yes. Yes. Like Libya now. They're still having a civil war since we got rid of Gaddafi. How long ago was that? Does Iraq really have a president now? I don't even know. Who's the president of Iraq? I'm not sure. Half the country was taken over by ISIS. So, is it better? Now they want to do the same thing to Iran. It's like, that's why I think it's hilarious. They try to say, oh, they have these policies. Yes, John, but I've said that a million times. Yeah, we've only had one civil war, but the country's only 249 years old. China's what? It's over 1,000 years old. Let's see, how old is China? $3,500 years. 3,500 years of written history in China. They say probably 5,000 years old if you count when they didn't have writing. But they have 3,500 years of written history. We have 249 years. And we're already falling apart. Tells you something right there. About American exceptionalism. No, America was exceptional because they stole a lot of shit from a lot of people. It's like, and the country was rich and abundant in resources. But we went through all that. right? We already mined all the gold, all the silver, everything they could get their fucking hands on. It's all gone. There's still some oil here, but all the other stuff gone. That's why I say, oh, we need all the rare earth and all this stuff from these other countries. Yeah, because we've already used up all of our shit. 200 years. Not to mention, we just killed a whole race of people. Enslaved another one. We packed a lot into 250 years. It's like a lot of bad shit. And that's why I tell you, that's why I said last week, the propaganda works. They were convincing people that they live in the land of the free while they were killing people and rounding them up, putting them on reservations. They said, we're free. And they were slaves. This is the land of the free, except them people. Get back to work. And people bought into it. Oh, yeah. We're wiping them people out, right? Killing women and children, burning down whole villages. They united together. They won one battle. And they go, oh, we got to get the savages. Because they were defending themselves. Oh, they killed Custer. We got to get them. Like, what was Custer doing? Oh, he was out there hunting for women and children to kill. It's like, yes, Julia. The most wasteful country that ever exists. Yeah, one of them. No. If you think about it, like, you know, the Roman Empire, with thousands of years, they ran the Roman Empire. We're at 249 years. We've already done all that, and it's falling apart already. It's a very truncated version. We haven't done a very good job. And now we're at the point where, like, we got the dumbest people in America to be in charge of. That's why I said that's when you know you're in the end stages. It's the end times of empire. You know, they got the dumbest leaders running out of fucking resources and shit. Don't have enough to go around. Got 25 rich people and millions and millions and millions of people starving. It's like living paycheck to paycheck. People will still say, this is the greatest country on earth. Is it? Well, then the earth is a shithole. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I said I'm going to go out and try to enjoy my life and not think about this stuff for a while. I'll be back on Tuesday at 6 o'clock as usual. And I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. I appreciate you tuning in. Please go listen to my album on iTunes. It's called Cancel Culture. I need people to listen. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's Bruce Leonard 2601 on YouTube. And I'll be back Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a good weekend.